Today, Sunday, August 23rd, 2026. Today's EON rant is brought to you by $40 trillion. And yes, I said $40 trillion. Obviously, people talk about when it started, when the debt started to crawl up. People say 1952. It hasn't really gone down every year since. People said about the crazy spending has gone up like crazy ever since 2002. And also, we like to say this as well. Since 2002, when it's gone up like crazy, who have we had in office? We've had both parties. We've had quote unquote radicals in both parties. We've had people thinking this party is the worst thing that ever happened. And no, it's that party the worst thing ever happened. And what do I see in the comment sections when someone reports this? People are saying, no, it's Trump's fault. No, it's the Republicans' fault. And no, it's Obama's fault and the Democrats, or the Obama faction with Joe Biden at the helm as well. Now, this is what I have to say about this. To all you people that are fighting in the comment section, these people at the top got you by the ass. And they got you because you make excuses about your life. And I get it. It's not great. It's not lovely that this country is in a $40 trillion debt. It's not very good. Obviously, due to they spend more than the actual GDP, because that's how debt happens. Whether it's a war, whether it's foreign countries, or whether it's your social programs that you just love to take a piece of bread and you say, oh, I love this piece of bread, but the government sucks because of the $40 trillion debt now. Or that's probably going to go up, probably not coming down. And you're sitting there and you're saying that these guys at the top, they keep going up and they're stealing everybody. No, they're not stealing everybody. You are just not as good. We're not as good as them. And by the way, and I always say this, and I'll say this till I die, in a free market country, because obviously there's Venezuela, and obviously there's corruption like crazy in Iran, and Russia with Putin, that you got to be part of the mob or else you got no money, basically, in those countries. And I'm sorry to that one guy out there who goes, I know my friend that lived in Russia and he lived well, and he didn't know Putin at all. Okay, I'm sorry to that good dude. But I'm talking about the multimillionaires. I'm talking about the people that live well. And I'm talking about the people who are doing well on a day-to-day basis and have nice cars and nice houses and don't even know one politician out there. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. And by the way, didn't know one politician when they made the first billion, and then somehow they made it more because the politicians started coming up to them. Okay, let me say this about those people. Those people, and I'll say this again, if you give everybody in this country $50,000 and start all over again, in 5 years from now, and for sure in 10 years from now, 90% of the multimillionaires today will be millionaires in 5 years. And 90% of the poor people will be poor in 5 years. And I'll tell you why. Because every time is a stupid excuse. It's a stupid fucking excuse that you guys make that you're not rich and you don't have anything and you don't do this and you don't do that. And because we as humans, that's what we do. That's what we do. The people who make excuses and cry and say, and the people who argue me back and say, that's not true, you are part of the problem. That's why you suck. And that's why you're not as big as them, because you cry about everything. And you know who I'm talking about, and you know who you are. Because every time there's an excuse, and there's an excuse about every single thing that happens in the world, and it's their fault, and this and that. Meanwhile, every party in the United States is throwing up the debt. There's obviously different policies towards different things, but every single side is throwing up the debt to the sky, and keep on going and keep on going. And by the way, you know who's not going to help it? I guarantee you that. The new wave of blaming Israel for everything, blaming the Jews, and being a Nazi and loving Hitler like the mayor of New York City. That is going to be even worse, because every single thing he's throwing off more money to pay for stuff, and then he's saying he balanced the budget because the state decided to throw money at him, which was not even his tax money. But yes, he's not even balancing the budget anymore. And no one's talking about balancing the budget anymore, because no one cares, because no one balances the budget ever in any place, in any city, in any state virtually, and definitely federally in the United States government. No one's ever going to balance the budget, and you guys are just going to sit there, you're going to cry about your life, make excuses why my life sucks, why this sucks. And everybody says, well, the multimillionaires and billionaires, they left. Well, they can leave, first of all. And by the way, the $50,000 a year people have left to keep the middle class in other places, and have done it too. A lot of them have done it too. Not everybody. Sorry. Everybody's going to say to me, goes, that's not true. A lot of people have left. But you know what? You could leave within the 50 states in America, because you don't have to put immigrant papers on it and sign visas and stuff. So all excuses you guys make in this world is just a bunch of boneheads. I talked about it with the LA Dodgers the other day. By the way, after I said that with my rant about the LA Dodgers, they went on a 6-game losing streak, and then suddenly they are back to a good record again. They don't make excuses. They don't cry about everything like you guys do. And I always said this about the Lakers. That was my last one. Somehow, it's people from both parties that were woke, quote unquote, and the Trump family with Kushner's brother. Jared Kushner, who's the son-in-law of Donald Trump's brother, bought the Lakers. And you guys sitting there going, what's going to be? Well, guess what? The smarter people, they're just better than you and better than us at finances, and we got to deal with it. Now, shut up and move on with your life, and be better. If you got a problem with it, just be better. And that's all I got to say. Every time there's an excuse about laziness, about not being able to do stuff, and I'm definitely a part of it, and I just got to sit there and tip my cap to the best and say they're the best, and that's it. And stop crying about everything. And the people who do cry about everything on these channels, these big platforms, guess what? They're laughing in your face, because they're getting all your subscribers, and they're not fixing anything in this world. They're fixing zero. They've not fixed a thing in this world ever. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes have never fixed anything. And I don't know if they ever will. What will they fix? What have they fixed? Tell me what they've fixed. I'm trying to figure it out. Tell me, and so you guys sitting there and talking about how it's not fair and life's not fair. It's just like people are trying to get to a solution. The people who try to get a solution actually are the ones getting killed, unfortunately. But the people who are sitting there just blaming everybody else for certain things, and everything else in their life is wrong because of certain groups and certain ethnicities, guess what? Those people, let me say this, they have not fixed a thing, and they'll never fix anything in this world. But you know what? They're laughing at you because you're subscribing and you're paying for their packages. Good for them with their hustle, but why? What are you going to gain with them? Is there laughter? Is there peace of mind when they say stuff? Probably not. But you're sitting there and you're always going, let's blame each party. When each party, let's be honest, I think they're close to each other. They might hate each other as individuals, but they are close to each other. And as far as they're part of a group that you're not part of. And you know why you're not part of it? Because you're not as good. And you just gotta admit it. And instead of making excuses about your life, you're sitting there, you're complaining about them. Okay? That's all we got. That's all we're doing. We're just complaining about them, and they're just better. When Facebook / Meta starts changing their policies the minute Trump wins, and and X changes their policies, and Elon Musk is continuing to be the richest man alive and actually making more millionaires than ever, you guys sitting there goes, one man is destroying everybody. Nah, he's just better than everybody at making money. And you sitting there crying like a baby back bitch. Sorry, have a good day. Bye.